He who represses his desire becomes its slave. By becoming aware of it, he gains freedom. If we're honest, you already know this hunger too well. It doesn't matter whether it shows up as endless scrolling through explicit content, chasing attention with flirtation you don't even enjoy, or lying awake at night replaying fantasies that leave you feeling emptier in the morning. The shape changes, but the ache is the same. You wake up with shame pressing on your chest, promising yourself that today will be different. By night, the cycle repeats. This sounds harsh, but lust has a way of stealing your strength quietly. Outwardly, you can look calm, even put together. Inside, it feels like your energy leaks away drop by drop. Hours disappear into screens. Conversations turn into silent hunting for glances, validation, proof that you still matter. It looks like desire for the other, but at its core, it is a desperate plea to feel alive, to feel seen. Not everyone is ready to hear this. Lust is less about the body in front of you and more about the emptiness inside you. The screen, the stranger, the risky message. They are bandages for something raw that never healed. Each time you reach for it, it feels like life for a moment. And each time the moment fades, the emptiness grows. If we're honest, what hurts most is not even the act itself. It is the loneliness after, the silence when you close the tab or step away from the encounter, the voice that whispers, "You've done it again." That mix of relief and self-disgust, of craving and collapse is the mark of dependency. And hiding it only makes the shame fester deeper. But here's the truth you need to hold. Your craving is not a sin written into your core. It is a distorted attempt to reclaim vitality. The part of you that hungers is not evil, it is wounded. It wants warmth, tenderness, recognition. Lust offers a counterfeit version of these, quick and shallow, leaving you starved. By the end of this journey, you will understand why your hunger is not proof of corruption, but of longing. You will see how to stop pouring your strength into illusions that never fill you. For now, stay with the pain. Let yourself admit the shame, the secrecy, the nights you promised yourself and broke the promise again. That honesty is the first doorway, because something deeper waits beyond the shame. And though it may scare you, naming it is the beginning of strength. They told you the answer was simple. Control yourself harder, lock everything down, ban every image, every thought. They promised that if you built enough walls, lust would starve. But you already know what happened. The tighter the walls, the louder the craving. Prohibition doesn't kill fantasy, it feeds it. The more you try to bury it, the more your mind circles back, inventing new paths around the rules you built. Then came the quick fixes. 30-day challenges, counters on apps, public commitments where you measure your worth in streaks and numbers. For a while, it feels like victory. 1 week, 2 weeks, maybe even longer. But beneath the discipline, nothing changes. Because numbers can't heal shame. Reports can't touch loneliness. The moment stress hits or isolation returns, the craving reappears and the numbers collapse. What remains is a deeper self-disgust, heavier than before. You may also have tried to escape through someone else, a new partner, a vow, an identity shift. Maybe religion promised cleansing if you just devoted yourself enough. Maybe love was supposed to heal the wound once and for all. But you discovered what few dare to say out loud. No partner, no ritual, no label erases the shadow you've never faced. They can hold you for a time, but the craving waits underneath. And here is the cruelest illusion, that lust equals corruption, that your hunger proves you are broken. This sounds harsh, but lust is not about depravity. It is about pain disguised as desire. At its root, the craving is not for sex or bodies or attention. It is for warmth, for recognition, for the feeling of being enough. Every time you reach for lust, you are really reaching for a fragment of tenderness denied long ago. That is why the cycle repeats. The ban, the vow, the control, all press on the same wound. And the wound does what wounds do. It demands to be felt. The psyche finds a way around rules because rules do not comfort loneliness. Rules do not dissolve shame. Rules cannot offer you the closeness you crave. You did what the world told you to do. You tried the methods that promised freedom, and when they failed, you blamed yourself. But the failure was not yours. The system itself was hollow. And now comes a sharper truth. Relapse is not the scariest part. There is something worse. A life drained of vitality, where you are technically clean but hollow inside. Where nothing destroys you, but nothing makes you feel alive either. That is the desert you must refuse to settle in. Next, we go deeper into why lust itself is not your enemy, but a signal pointing to the places you've abandoned within. Lust is not the enemy you thought it was. It is not the mark of shame that proves you are corrupt. It is a mask stretched over something older. The loneliness you never voiced, the shame you swallowed, the tenderness you were taught to hide. The craving you fight so fiercely is simply the distorted route your psyche built toward connection. You are not addicted to bodies on a screen. You are not addicted to the thrill of attention. You are addicted to that brief illusion of being seen, of being touched in the places you keep in the dark. Each time lust surges, it is the inner child calling, "Notice me, don't abandon me again." When you respond with hatred, "I'm disgusting, I must kill this urge," you punish the very child already starving for warmth. And so the circle tightens. Here lies the painful clarity. Lust is not your disgrace, it is your wounded compass. It points toward the parts of you that still ache for recognition. Every time you collapse into shame after chasing it, you are not failing. You are touching the raw place that has waited years for you to turn inward. And this is the moment to choose a different response. Not surrender, not indulgence, but honesty. To say, yes, the craving is here, and it speaks of pain I must face. To stop treating it as filth and start treating it as a message. If these words strike you, do not let them slip away. If they resonate, subscribe to the channel. That way, more people will hear the truth that has been hidden from them. If you feel this is about you, subscribe to the channel. The algorithms will carry it to others ready to face their shadow. If you understand what I am pointing to, subscribe to the channel. Let this truth reach those who are done running from themselves. Remember this, accepting the craving does not mean giving up. It means you no longer waste strength in self-hatred. What comes next is harder and more liberating. The shadow behind lust, the part most psychologists avoid naming, is where the real turning begins. Lust wears the costume of desire, but underneath it is the shadow stepping onto the stage. Jung said the parts of us we reject do not disappear. They wait for a scene where they can finally be noticed. That is what craving is, a disguise for the tenderness, rage, fear, and longing you buried. Every fantasy is a performance where the shadow tries to get a glimpse of light. This is why we fall in love with images, not with people. The anima and animus, the inner feminine and masculine figures, project themselves onto whoever stands before us. You do not love them as they are. You love the reflection of your inner figure shimmering on their face. It feels overwhelming, intoxicating. But soon the projection fades and emptiness returns. The cycle repeats: idealization, collapse, hunger. Freud called it repetition compulsion, the trauma replayed again and again until you dare to face the wound itself. Attachment wounds fuel this fire. The anxious cling to lust to feel closeness for a moment. The avoidant use lust to taste connection without risking intimacy. Both are masks covering the same fear. If I let someone see me fully, I will be hurt or abandoned. Lust provides a shortcut, a taste of connection without the danger of being truly known. The body remembers everything. Pressure in the chest, tension in the jaw, restless hands. Craving is the body begging for release. Lust becomes the valve, the quick escape from the pressure cooker inside. For a moment it works. And then the critic arrives, the voice that spits, "You're pathetic. You failed again." The inner jailer shames the inner child. One part punishes, the other flees. The war rages and aliveness loses. Family scripts run deep here too. Many grew up under silence about the body, shame around desire, strict control where tenderness was forbidden. Lust then grows in the shadows, carrying the forbidden charge. The more shame, the stronger the cycle. The harsher the label "I am bad," the smaller the chance for integration. And so the paradox appears. Control intensifies fantasy. Shame solidifies craving. Hatred toward the self chains the cycle tighter. And here is the most painful truth. Until you face what your craving actually came to signal, every method remains a temporary bandage. You can count days, install blockers, make vows, but the wound will find another outlet. The shadow does not vanish because you silence it. It waits, and it will keep using lust as its language until you learn to listen. There are no quick fixes here. What helps are small rituals repeated daily that slowly return the strength you used to lose to craving. First, the 3 breaths and acknowledgement pause. Each time you feel the urge rising, stop. Take 3 slow breaths and name it honestly. I feel craving now because I am in pain and I am lonely. Not to excuse yourself, but to strip off the mask. Naming it begins to transform it. Second, the shadow journal. Write without censorship about your fantasies, your shame, your anger, your needs. By putting it into words, what was invisible becomes visible. What once ruled in secret loses power when it is brought to light. Third, the sensitivity protocol. Daily, brief practices that bring you back into your body. Mindful breathing, gentle stretching, a walk without a screen, touching a tree, feeling the wind on your skin. Not punishment, but a return to sensation. Fourth, defragmenting the fantasy. Ask yourself what lies behind the image you crave. Are you seeking warmth, recognition, play, rest? These needs are legitimate, and they can be met in mature ways. Identifying them keeps them from hiding behind an impossible figure. Fifth, the boundary contract. Name clearly the situations that almost always trigger you. Late night isolation, stress, certain online spaces, and choose alternatives in advance. Not a prison, but care for your future self. Sixth, recovery after relapse without self-destruction. 3 steps. Admit that the one who relapsed is a human being, not a monster. Restore the body with rest, water, food. Return to the shadow journal and answer one honest question. What pain was I trying to cover? Seventh, the witness practice. Regular conversations with one trusted person or a safe community where you bring into the light what you usually hide. Speaking it aloud breaks shame's hold. And here is where community begins. If you recognize yourself in these words, write in the comments. I am no longer running from pain. Let's see how many here are ready for truth. If you feel it is time to meet your shadow, write, my darkness is my strength. Together we create a circle of those unafraid to look within. If you are ready to stop playing roles, write, I take off the masks. Let's see who here is ready for real life. If this video changed something in you, write, I accept my shadow. Write it as a commitment to yourself. Each phrase is not decoration. It is an act of reclaiming power. Naming it publicly transforms shame into strength. Integration means this. Lust is no longer a forbidden enemy, but a form of energy waiting to be directed. For years you treated it like poison, something to banish, something to hide, and every attempt to crush it only made it grow stronger. The shift begins when you stop seeing it as corruption and start seeing it as a messenger. The craving you feared is proof that you are still alive. Shame told you it made you weak, but in truth it was pointing to places inside you that wanted warmth, connection, and recognition. By facing it, by listening instead of hating, You turn the same energy that once drained you into fuel for presence. This is the movement from shame to dignity, from control to responsibility, from fantasy to real contact. You no longer waste strength on endless battles against yourself. You begin to form an alliance with the parts of you you once rejected. And in that alliance, vitality returns. Most psychologists will not tell you this. It is difficult to speak of desire without moralizing or without cynicism, but you have already taken the key step. You stopped lying to yourself. You dared to admit what is real. That is the foundation of all transformation. And so the ending cannot be wrapped in neat closure. Because this is not the end, it is only the beginning. The path ahead will still challenge you, still test you, still ask for honesty, but now you know where your strength lies. Not in denial, not in masks, but in acceptance. This is only the beginning.